For Financial Computing 2, we're going to use the GNU C++ compiler. There are various ways of installing that on Windows. One convenient way that will also give you some practice with Linux, if you haven't had experience with Linux before, is to install a version of Linux within Windows 10 and then use the GNU C++ compiler within that Linux window. Alright, so in order to set this up, we're going to first start a PowerShell as administrator. Alright, so I'm going to type PowerShell here, and then I'll click Run as Administrator. I'm going to get asked, do I want to allow this app to change your device? I'll say yes. There's my PowerShell. And I can simply copy this command that I'm supposed to run, enable Windows optional feature, blah blah blah. I click the copy button there, and over here I can click Control V or type Control V to paste that. And now I'll be ready to hit the Enter key, which I will do. And this takes a few minutes to install this subsystem within Windows 10. When this is getting close to finished, I'll restart the video. I'm going to clip out a lot of this delay. Okay, now I believe I already had that installed actually, so I was not asked if I want to restart my system. It's very likely that you will be asked if you want to restart your system, and you will have to do that if so. But I now have the Windows subsystem for Linux installed apparently. I'm going to exit from my PowerShell, and we'll continue on to the next step here. Okay, it does say restart your computer when prompted. Alright, so just to be safe, I am going to do that, even though I don't think technically that I have to. Now, in order to restart, I'm going to have to stop recording my video, of course. Okay, well that took some time, but I closed Chrome, saved my video, shut down and rebooted the system, pulled Chrome back up to get to these instructions again, and restarted this video. So let's go on to the next step now. Our next step is going to be installing the Linux distribution of our choice, and we're going to do that by downloading and installing from the Microsoft Store. So open the Microsoft Store. Okay, so we'll go to the Start menu and find the Microsoft Store. There we go, Microsoft Store. And we can search for Linux distributions. Okay, run Linux on Windows. Ubuntu is what we want. So I'll click Ubuntu. Now you can use a different version of Linux, but Ubuntu is very widely used, and it's one I'm very familiar with. Alright, so we're going to say get. All Linuxes are free, so we'll say get. And we're told that it's downloading. I'll clip out some of this time. Okay, and it did an install, and it did a complete. And now we're told we can launch. So let's launch. Installing may take a few minutes. Again, I'll clip some time out here. Okay. Now we're asked, please create a default Unix user account. Username does not need to match your Windows username. I'm accustomed to having my name be J. Ostlund. Alright, you should obviously use whatever name you prefer. And now I'm asked for a password, so you can use whichever password you prefer. And you'll be asked to retype. Alright, and so my password was updated, and I am now logged in to Ubuntu Linux on my Windows 10 machine. Now this is legitimate Ubuntu Linux. It's not some kind of fake Linux. It's real, honest-to-goodness Ubuntu Linux on here. PWD in a Linux system stands for Print Working Directory, and it will tell you where you are located on your Linux machine. By default, a directory with your name gets created in the /home directory. Unlike Windows, Linux systems are conventionally multi-user systems, and so each user will tend to have their own home directory underneath /home. Now, on your laptop, you are probably going to be the only user of this multi-user system, but nevertheless, that is where home directories get stored. The ls command lists files in your current directory. I don't have anything currently. Mkdir, MKDIR, is how you can create a directory, and I'm going to create a directory called FC2, which I will then change directory into, CD into FC2. PWD will now show that I am in that FC2 directory. And let me create another subdirectory called Lec1. And I will CD into Lec1. So this is Lecture 1 files. Currently there's nothing in here. VI is one of the very popular editors for Linux systems. It's not the easiest editor to learn. You can use other integrated development environments if you wish. I'm not going to require you to learn VI, but let me quickly create our first program file by using VI of hello.cpp. And in here I will give the... Oh, this is kind of awful. I can't read anything. So, if you right-click on the border area, the title area, you can change properties. And let me change the screen background. See, the screen background here is black. RGB are all 0. Let me change the screen background to white. Let me change the screen text to black and save that and see whether we have something a little more reasonable now. Yes. Alright, so that looks a little more reasonable. So I changed the background to white and the text to black. This file is hello.cpp. VI automatically assumes I want to continue my comments, so when I hit the enter key a couple of times there, it filled in these double slashes for me that I didn't actually want. Now I'm going to include IOStream. Actually, this font is probably difficult for you to see, so let me go back to Properties and choose Font and choose, I'm going to grow this up to 36, and I'm going to choose Courier New as my font. Let me try Lucida Console as my font instead. That's a little darker. Okay, that's a little nicer. Okay, so I've got my include IO stream. I'm going to say using namespace std, and then int main open curly c out of the string hello world with new line. There we go. I've now got my file in there. Of course, now my terminal more than fills my screen. So let me shrink the terminal down a bit. There we go. All right. All right. So now I can use more to display that file. There it is. And I can say g++ -o hello.cpp. -o hello means to use hello as the name of the output file produced by the compiler, and hello.cpp is the source code file. Now, I'm going to bet money that I'll get complained at about this. Yes, it's not found. Okay, so we're going to need to install the GNU C++ compiler. Now, I made a couple of attempts to do this that I erased from my video that failed miserably, so I Googled for instructions and found these instructions here. The first thing that we need to do is to update Linux itself. All right, so we're going to say sudo apt-get update. Now, sudo means as the superuser, do some command. Superuser is Linux speak or Unix speak for the administrator. So as the superuser, we're going to update our Linux system. I'm going to say sudo apt-get update. I've actually already done this, so for me this is going to be quick. For you, it's likely to take longer, but you have to do your update of Linux first. It'll ask for your password, so type in whatever it is. And chug, 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 chug. And there we are. So when I first did that, it took a couple of minutes before I got back to my prompt. Now that I've got my Ubuntu Linux updated, we're ready to install G++. So we're going to say sudo apt-get install G++. Do I want to continue? I'll say yes. And it's chugging and grinding and installing. It's going to take a couple of minutes, looks like. I'll clip out some time. Okay, and finally we are done. So now let's list the file that I have and display it again. There we are, and let's see if it will compile now. So g++ -o hello, and then my source file name hello.cpp, and Shazam, it worked this time. I see that I do have a file named hello. The fact that it's green in my window here is one way that this terminal highlights something that's executable. So I can now say /hello, and it runs. Okay, so we have now successfully installed Ubuntu Linux within Windows 10, and we're using a terminal window within Ubuntu Linux in which we've installed, well, first we updated Linux itself, and then we installed our GNU C++ compiler, and we've created and compiled a C++ program. Okay, so that's that. You can close this. Here's the Ubuntu symbol down here in my taskbar. I can close this by just hitting X in the upper right corner, and then I can go to my Start menu and relaunch Ubuntu that way. Or if I would like, I can right-click on Ubuntu and use More to pin that to the taskbar. Whoops, rats. No, I don't want this to be administrator. All right, so let me try that again. So I'm going to go to the Start menu, right-click on Ubuntu, More, and pin to taskbar. Okay, and so now I can get myself an Ubuntu terminal by just clicking the icon in the taskbar at any time. And there we go.